Never lie down by an old well, looking down at the reflection at the bottom. The well may not belong to you. Welcome to the ghost story. The Ghost in the Well. I had a strange experience when I was young. This strange event was related to the old well in front of my grandmother's house. I don't know when the well was dug. Even when water pipes were installed in every home, some still preferred well water and carried it home to drink. That year, during National Day, my mum and I returned to Grandma's for the Mid-Autumn Festival. The adults were busy cooking. I wanted to take a walk. Unexpectedly, my mum and Grandma both reminded me in unison, "Never go near that well. Don't even look down into it." They said the well had a ghost with a painted face. If that were true, who would dare fetch water from it? Clearly, they were just afraid kids might fall in and drown. It was a scary ghost story, but I wasn't exactly an obedient child. At that time, there was a middle-aged man in the village, named Wu Fugui, who often came to fetch water from the old well. His family made tofu, and he just wanted to save money on tap water. He also warned me not to go near the well. I said, "I'm grown up now." Right after that, I headed straight for the old well. The whole village's children were scared of the Walian ghost. I wanted to see what was so scary about the well's bottom. To be honest, I was scared too. Maybe it was psychological, but the well's mouth felt like the gaping maw of a demon. I nervously leaned over to peer into the well. At the same time, I was prepared to run if needed. The old well was deep. The bottom was terrifyingly dark. To see the bottom clearly, you'd have to lean right over the well's mouth. Thankfully, I didn't see the Walian ghost, but I also didn't see my reflection. The water was murky. It glowed faintly with a strange green light. I kept adjusting my position, but I still couldn't see my reflection. I was dazed, then I ran away. That night, something strange happened. Not long after I fell asleep, I heard a strange voice. Following the voice, I returned to the old well. I lay at the well's mouth, staring into its depths. This time, I finally saw a reflection at the bottom, but that reflection wasn't mine. The dark shadow grew larger and larger. Eventually, as the mustache shifted, I saw a painted face. The face looked like an opera singer's makeup. The painted face seemed friendly, smiling up at me from the water below. Then suddenly, the face rushed toward me. The smiling face vanished. It opened its mouth and shouted at me fiercely. I still hadn't reacted when I realized I couldn't escape the well's mouth. I was frozen in fear, but I realized he could never escape the well. He could only circle around the well's edge. Behind him, the painted ghost kept screaming. I didn't dare look back, fearing that I would be bitten. I didn't know how long this state would last, until I heard my grandmother call my name. The moment I heard her voice, I realized that I had fallen to the bottom of the well. My grandmother was at the well's mouth, shouting at me. Finally, I woke up, but I immediately had a high fever. I fainted again. My mother called to take me to the hospital. My mother said she stayed with me all night at the bedside. I had a fever of nearly 40 degrees. I was continuously beaten down. I had to receive IV fluids for several days. Then I gradually got better. I told my mother that I was chased by a ghost in my dreams. It was a terrifying moment when she woke me up again. My mother said, I screamed while sleeping. No matter how I called out, she couldn't wake me up. But my grandmother had passed away several years ago. She loved me in every way she could. I didn't expect that she would still protect me in my dreams. As for the ghost, it was not real. My mother could say that before marrying. Someone in the village had seen the spirit of Walian appearing at the bottom of the well, but they were all children. Perhaps children's eyes are clearer than adults. In fact, Walian was also very pitiful. He used to be a somewhat famous opera singer. No one knew his real life. Only his art was known. His name was Muzi Zhongping, Rabbit Zhongping. Although he was an actor, he hated evil. Because he didn't see the landlord bully the poor, he refused the invitation to hold a birthday party for the rich. 3 people invited by the rich. A gangster beat him to death. He couldn't think of anything and jumped into the well to commit suicide. The makeup he wore when he was fished out to sing in an opera was very terrifying. The well of the Han has not run dry for 3 years. The villagers had to go to that well again to fetch water. So, children often see the ghost of Muzi Zhongping. However, it didn't affect the villagers fetching water. As for hearing my grandmother scream in my dreams,